Well, good morning, everyone. It is 8 o'clock here in northern Minnesota, as my time pieces are telling me. I am Dr. Jeff Evenson. I'm a board certified doctor of holistic health. I have my practice in northern Minnesota at Evenson Holistic Natural Health Center. I work with people, work with my clients in person or telehealth or virtual. And I am not a medical doctor. I don't practice medicine. I don't pretend to practice medicine. I don't treat, diagnose, or cure. I simply work with people and help them rediscover who their body is and what it needs to heal, to go through the healing phase. And I'm trying to pause here a little bit just to give people time to jump on if they're going to. I know it's the first weekend of the new year. Some people may catch the show later. Other people are out sleeping in because they had a long break this weekend. But what a 2025 went out with a bang, let me tell you. It was an awesome, awesome year. You know, last year, it never would have occurred to me. I hit some of my bucket list items last year. I wrote and published a book last year, early last year. I got to teach a workshop down in Chicago on quantum nutrition testing. That was awesome. And I got to speak at the quantum nutrition testing, Quantum Leap 2025 conference down in Orlando, Florida. There were a couple hundred practitioners and people interested in holistic health and interested in knowing how we do natural health. And those were just some of my bucket items that happened in 2025. You know, it was really a phenomenal year. So if you are jumping on for the show on Facebook and other platforms, I'm streaming live on Facebook, my personal feed, my business feed there, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, my Rumble channel. That Rumble is my main repository. I'm also streaming on my Substack channel. Beyond the Indicator Muscle is over on Substack and Instagram. All the platforms, all the places that people tend to tune in. I want to get everybody the opportunity to hear, hopefully hear something that I'm teaching that they can put to good use. I don't know if this light helps me or hurts me. There, that might be better. So another big deal here is we're starting the year out with episode 80. This is the 80th episode of Morning Coffee with Doc Jeff. And when I started the show, it holy cow, it never occurred to me that I would be doing it as long as I have. Um, and that is just a blast. I've picked up, been able to reach out to people that wouldn't otherwise hear about holistic health. They wouldn't know where to go, and hopefully I can, I'm passing along useful information to people. But if you're jumping on and willing, say hi in the comments in the chat. Um, and Louis is going to say hi here. I don't know if you can see him, but he wants to go lay down. Go lay down. Go on. Um, he always seems to want to come and get my attention when I'm doing the show. So the show, when I thought about what do I teach, what are we going to talk about on episode 80? Okay. The and I thought I would talk about one of the things that comes up every single year. Every year, somebody comes up and says, "Hey Jeff, I want to do a detox." Hey Jeff, can we do a detox? I want to do a detox. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about while some aspects of doing the detox is good and the bad parts of it, but we're going to talk about the missing piece that people often skip over when they're doing the detox, and it's literally the most critical piece. And we'll talk about why that is. Um, but I'm looking forward, folks, to 2026. Okay, if there, and I will invite you to put it in the comments if there's a specific topic you would love for me to cover. Um, put it in the comments, and I'll take that up for consideration on writing a show around it. Okay, now that people are streaming in, I appreciate that. If you get a chance, say hi in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. That's always fun. Um, so let's dive into the show. I don't know if it'll take the full hour that I plan. I always plan for the hour. Sometimes we'll finish early. Sometimes I go late, depending on what is happening. But um, let's dive in. It's a new year. Obviously, we're 3 days in to the new year, and I'm looking at my show notes already, and I put down January 3rd, 2025. I'm going to change that real quick. It's a new year, and right on cue, the noise starts again. Detox this, cleanse that, reset everything, and we see this in the media. We see it on social media. We see it on the news. You got to do a detox. Clean this out, folks. Slow down, take a step back, and regroup on this. Figure out what your objective is before you decide you want to dive into a detox. People are constantly saying this: detox this, cleanse this, reset everything. It's just as if your body suddenly became disposable on December 31st. I want to say this clearly right out of the gate. Your body did not fail you last year. It adapted, it compensated, it carried you through things most people never see. And now, instead of listening to it, the world tells you to punish it. That mindset alone is why so many people crash in January. Okay? Because real healing does not start with force. It starts with respect. And here's the uncomfortable truth most detox programs never tell you. If your drainage pathways are congested, detox will make you feel worse, not better. And I've watched this pattern repeat year after year after year. Highly motivated people, great intentions. They jump into aggressive detox protocols, and within days, they're exhausted, foggy, emotional, and inflamed. And when they say, my body can't detox, or no detox works for me, another one that's fun, I guess this is just how I am. No. What failed was the order of operations that you did the detox in. Your body's not broken, but it does respond to pressure. Detox without drainage is pressure. Drainage is permission. And when exits are closed and you stir things up anyway, the system backs up. All those toxins that you're trying to detox yourself from, they start to recirculate in the system. Hi, Bev from Iowa. Thanks for popping in, Bev. I appreciate it. The toxins recirculate. The symptoms are going to spike. Okay. The nervous system goes on alert. And the body does exactly what it is designed to do. It slows things down to protect you. So this year, we're not going to do that. This year, we stop attacking the body in the name of health. We stop chasing intensity over intelligence. We stop confusing suffering with progress. Because healing is not about how hard you push, it's about how well you listen. And so today I want to reframe detox completely, not as a cleanse, not as a reset button, but as a process that only works when flow comes first. Drainage is not optional, folks. It is foundational. And once you understand that, everything about detox changes. So if you're coming into this year tired of trying harder and getting nowhere, stay with me. We're going to slow this down. We're going to restore flow, and we're going to let the body do what it was designed to do. So grab your coffee. And let's dive in. All right. So you've heard me say why we're going to talk about why most detox programs fail before they ever start. Okay. And here really is where we have to get honest. Most detox programs fail before the first supplement is swallowed, before the first juice is poured, before day one even begins. They fail because they're built on the wrong assumption. The assumption is this: if I feel bad, I need to get toxins out faster. And that sounds logical and it feels productive, but it's completely backwards. Your body does not heal through speed, it heals through sequencing. And when I sit with someone in here, I've tried every detox out there. What they're really telling me is, I've stirred things up over and over without opening up the exits. So here it is. Detox is about mobilization. Drainage is about elimination. And those are not the same thing. You can mobilize toxins from tissues, fat cells, organs, and the gut all day long. But if your liver is congested, the bile is thick, your lymph is stagnant, kidneys are overloaded, or the gut is inflamed, those toxins do not leave. They circulate. And when toxins circulate, your symptoms spike. This is why people experience headaches, nausea, fatigue, anxiety, skin eruptions, joint pain, and brain fog during detox programs. Not because detox is working, but because drainage is failing. And the body is not stupid. It does not say, let's just keep pushing. It says, this is unsafe. Danger, danger. And when it does, it pulls the brakes. And that's when people quit. Because they feel like shit. That's when they blame their body. That is when they decide healing is too hard. But here's the part no one talks about. If detox feels like a battle, you already lost. Real detox does not feel aggressive. It feels relieving. And the difference between those two experiences is drainage. So before I ever think about detoxification, I'm asking different questions. Is the lymph system moving? Okay. Is bile flowing? Are the kidneys supported? Is the gut even capable of carrying waste out, not back into circulation? Because if those answers are no, detox is not heroic, it is reckless. And I will not put a body under that kind of pressure. And this is where discipline comes in. Not discipline to suffer, but discipline to slow down and do it right. Because healing is not about how much you can endure, it's about how intelligently you support the system you are living in. And that's where drainage comes in. So, before going to the next segment, if you're just jumping on for the show, jump into the comments and tell me, say hi, where you're watching from. We've got one person on there from Iowa. I see there's other people on the show. Thanks for joining the show. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you'll get something out of what I'm talking about today. All right. So we're going to talk about detox marketing versus human biology. Okay, because this is where most people get trapped. Detox has been turned into a marketing event, a 30-day challenge. Let's do a 3-day cleanse. Okay. A bottle that promises a reset. And marketing loves urgency because urgency shuts off discernment. But your body does not respond to hype, it responds to biology. Okay. And Janae, hopefully, will answer your question in the segment here. If not, I'll answer it at the end of the segment. Biology moves at the speed of safety. Your liver does not care that it is January. Your lymphatic system does not care that you are motivated. Your kidneys do not care how badly you want to reset. They care whether the terrain is supported. And here's what detox marketing never tells you. The liver detoxifies in phases. The lymphatic system does not have a pump. The kidneys filter based on hydration, mineral balance, and blood flow. The gut determines whether toxins leave or get reabsorbed. That is not opinion, that's physiology. So, when detox programs push aggressive binders, stimulants, cleanses, or fasting without addressing these systems first, the body does what it always does: it compensates. And compensation looks like symptoms. The body slows detox down when it senses overload. And it will store those toxins when elimination feels unsafe. It inflames tissues to protect vital organs. So when someone says, I'm detoxing and feel awful, my first thought is not, good, it's working. My first thought is, what system is overwhelmed? Where do we need to increase the drainage and support? Because healing is not about overwhelming the body into submission. It's about cooperating with it. And this is where discipline separates from impulse. Impulse says, do more, push harder, speed it up. Discipline says, support the foundations so the process can actually finish. Drainage is discipline. Drainage is saying no to shortcuts, no to intensity without intelligence, no to suffering as proof of progress. When drainage is supported, detox does not feel chaotic. It feels organized, predictable, and sustainable. Energy improves instead of crashes. Clarity increases instead of fog. The nervous system stays regulated instead of reactive. This is how you know you're working with the body instead of against it. And it's why I refuse to start detox conversations without first talking about drainage, because biology always wins. So to answer Janae's question, I'm going to put it on the screen. How do we know if we're draining well or not? Well, I just covered it there. Your body is going to tell you you should not feel stressed. You should feel relief, as I talked about here. Your body should feel regulated instead of reactive. Okay. Um, if your drainage is supporting everything well, the symptoms are going to feel it's like gonna, as I said, it's going to be a relief. It's like your body's like, ah, oh, thank you. Okay. But if it feels like everything is backing up or your symptoms are getting worse, that's an indicator that um, your drainage isn't supporting you or you're not doing enough. Okay. We're going to talk more about drainage. So, because drainage is really the difference between healing and survival mode. All right. This is where everything turns. We're going to keep talking about drainage because it's the most relevant question. Drainage is not trendy. Okay. It is not sexy. And it does not sell well because it requires patience. But drainage is the difference between a body that heals and a body that stays stuck in survival mode. So when I talk about drainage, I'm talking about the exit routes of the body, not theory, not philosophy. Actual pathways that must be open and functional. If toxins cannot leave, the body does not detox. It stores, it adapts, it survives. So here are the primary drainage systems that I'm always evaluating. Okay. I'm always looking at the liver and bile flow. We're going to be looking at the lymphatic system, looking at the kidneys, the gut, and the cellular terrain itself. Okay. So liver, lymphatics, kidneys, gut, cells. And here's the key distinction most people miss. Detox mobilizes, drainage eliminates. So mobilization without elimination is chaos. Let's talk plainly. The liver can neutralize toxins, but if bile is thick or stagnant, those toxins will sit. The lymphatic carries waste, but it has no pump. It relies on movement, hydration, and flow. That's why I tell people sometimes do meditation and breathe or practice yoga, because the practice of yoga involves movement and breath work. Breath work is never going to hurt. It helps move your lymphatic system. The kidneys filter blood, but only if minerals and fluids are adequate. And the gut removes waste, but if it's inflamed or sluggish, toxins get reabsorbed. So if your gut, if you're pooping maybe 4 times or every 4 days, the toxins are going to be sitting there in your colon waiting to get out. And instead, it's just giving the body time to adapt, and it's going to reabsorb the toxins that are sitting there waiting to get out. This is why it's important when I'm working with my clients, I always ask, how often are you pooping? And if you're not pooping at least once a day, that's one of the first things we're going to work on. We got to get you pooping. And yes, you can't talk holistic health without including a discussion about poop. I don't care if it offends your sensibilities. Some people are like, oh my God, we can't talk about those bodily functions. We have to talk about those functions. This is where the toxins get out. So when someone jumps straight into a detox without supporting these systems, the body does the only thing that it can do. It pulls the emergency brake. That brake looks like fatigue. It looks like headaches. It looks like anxiety. It looks like feeling worse instead of better. And then people think detox is dangerous. No. Poor sequencing is dangerous. Drainage is the body saying, I am ready to let this go. This is why I spend so much time early in care focusing on gentle, strategic support. Not killing, not stripping, not forcing, but opening flow, reducing congestion, restoring communication between systems. Once drainage is established, detox stops feeling like a fight. The body exhales. Symptoms soften instead of spiking, and your energy stabilizes. This is the moment people say, for the first time, this feels different. That is not magic. That is respect for the biology. And if you remember nothing else from today, remember this: detox does not fail because the body is weak. Detox fails because the exits were never opened. And that is what we fix first. So, we're going to talk about why killing, cleansing, and going hard too early backfires. I talked about that earlier in this past segment here. But this is where I'm going to challenge some sacred cows. Okay? Because a lot of people think detox means killing something. Killing parasites, killing candida, killing mold, killing bacteria. And I understand why that's appealing. It feels decisive. It feels strong. It feels like action. But here's the truth most people learn the hard way. Killing comes with debris. When you kill anything in the body, you create waste. That waste has to be processed, neutralized, and eliminated. So if drainage is not already established, killing does not create healing. It creates traffic. The body is suddenly dealing with endotoxins, inflammatory compounds, and cellular debris on top of what it was already struggling to clear. That is why people say things like, I started a parasite cleanse and felt horrible. Or, I tried antifungals and crashed. Or, I went after mold and everything got worse. It wasn't because the body was weak, folks. It was because the exits were overwhelmed. Aggressive cleanses and fasts can create the same problem. Yes, they can mobilize toxins. Yes, they can stimulate detox pathways. But stimulation without support is stress. And stress always has a cost. Here's something I want to be really clear about. Suffering is not proof that something is working. Sometimes suffering is proof that the body is waving a red flag. And when I see someone who has been through multiple aggressive protocols, I often find the same pattern: lymph congestion, dehydration and mineral depletion, compromised gut elimination, nervous system burnout. So instead of building capacity, the system becomes more reactive. And this is why I refuse to lead with killing. You do not tear down a house before you reinforce the exits. You do not start a fire without knowing how the smoke will leave. Drainage first creates safety. Once the body feels safe, it will tolerate and even welcome deeper work. But until then, force backfires. Healing is not about dominance over the body. It is about a partnership with it. And when that partnership is respected, the body becomes remarkably willing to let go. All right. I had an aside here because I can hear the questions that I get. What are we actually detoxing from? Okay. So I want to take a pause here. It's an important pause because when people hear the word detox, it can feel vague or abstract. So let me ground this in reality. When I talk about detoxification, I'm not talking about some mysterious toxin floating in the air. I am talking about very real, very common stressors the body is dealing with every single day. And here are the big categories that I see most often in my practice. Okay. Environmental toxins. And these come from air, water, food, household products, chemtrails. Yes, they're real. Government finally came out and said they're real. Pesticides, herbicides, solvents, plastics, off-gassing from furniture. Who doesn't love when you buy a new couch or something, or when you buy that new car, you get that new car smell? Folks, that's off-gassing, toxins. As good as it smells, it's toxic. So if you buy a new furniture, or sometimes you get a new bed, mattress. This happened with a client. She got a new mattress and started getting massive headaches for like almost every night for 2 weeks. And as I was talking to her about it, um, I asked what was new in her environment, and she goes, "The only thing new was a new bed. She got a new mattress." And so that thing was off gassing, and she was smelling it every night and waking up with headaches. Okay. So if you can set these things outside for a while without it getting ruined in the weather, of course, so they can off gas, or spend a little bit more for better quality products that aren't made with harmful products or chemicals and toxins. Okay. So that's environmental toxins. All of that places a load on the liver, the lymph, and the kidneys. All right. Now, the next category is heavy metals: mercury, lead, cadmium, aluminum. These can come from old dental work, occupational exposure, food sources, water, or environmental contamination. Okay. Metals do not just disappear. Metals do not just disappear. They accumulate and interfere with enzymes, nerves, and the mitochondria. They gunk up the cell. And if they don't have the right mineral in the body, the cell won't let go of the heavy metal that's attached to it. One thing missing on that list: heavy metals comes from vaccinations. Look at the ingredient list on vaccinations. Aluminum, mercury, cadmium, all of this stuff is in the vaccinations. All right, another big category. Anyway, they accumulate. They can really muck with the operation of the mitochondria, the enzymes and nerves in your body. I've seen clear heavy metal toxicity, mercury toxicity. Years ago, I detoxed a guy who was getting the shakes. He had the shakes in his hand. He was starting to feel it in his neck, and we detoxed him from mercury, and all of that went away. Okay, but it takes time. That none of this detox work. I'm going to throw this caveat on there. None of this detox, as we've been talking about, you go with the speed of what the body can tolerate. You're not going to force this. So, with that said, just know there's no overnight detoxification solution. Just as there's no overnight solution with anything holistic health. It takes time because time is what is needed to work with the body in a respectful way, in a way that the body can handle the load. Another big category: mold and mycotoxins. Okay, do a lot of mold detoxification with people. This is a big one that's often missed. Water damaged buildings, basements, workplaces, and even vehicles can expose people to mold toxins that stress the immune system, brain, hormones, and detox pathways. All right. Then there's internal toxins from the gut. This includes the endotoxins, the waste byproducts, and metabolites from imbalanced gut bacteria or sluggish digestion. If the gut is inflamed or slow, toxins that should leave get reabsorbed. Then we have hormone byproducts. Hormones are really powerful signaling molecules. And when estrogen, cortisol, or other hormones are not properly broken down and eliminated, they recirculate and create symptoms even when your lab values look normal. There's a lot of times why we can't lose the weight in our bodies, or suddenly we realize we're 20 pounds over or more. Got to detox. Medication, here's another category: medications and supplement residue. Medications save lives, but they still require detoxification. Long term use can burden the liver and kidneys. And even supplements, when layered too aggressively, can become a stressor if drainage is poor. And here's one that often gets overlooked: emotional and stress chemistry. Chronic stress is not just psychological, it creates biochemical waste. Inflammatory compounds like cortisol metabolites and neurotransmitter byproducts all require clearance from the body. This is why detox is never just about one thing. And this is why drainage matters so much. Because all of these toxins, regardless of their source, must move through the same exit routes: the liver, the lymph, the kidneys, the gut. You need to be able to poop, pee, sweat. There was another one I was going to throw in there and it just whoop disappeared. So if those exits are congested, it does not matter how clean your diet is or how motivated you are. What am I detoxing from? Well, my answer is simple. You are detoxing from life. And the goal is not to fear that. The goal is to support the body so it can do what God designed it to do efficiently and safely. That is the difference between detox as punishment and detox as stewardship. So, how do I actually approach detox and drainage in my practice? Well, this is where I separate from most of what people have tried before. Okay. I do not start by asking what can we kill, what can we cleanse, what can we eliminate fast. I start by asking a much better question. Can your body safely let go of what it is holding on to? Because if the answer is no, pushing detox is not bold, it is careless. My approach is simple, but it requires discipline. First, I look at flow, not force. Is bile moving, or is the liver congested? Is lymph moving, or is it stagnant and backed up? Are the kidneys supported with minerals and hydration? Is the gut capable of carrying waste out instead of recycling it? If those answers are unclear, then detox is off the table. This is where a lot of people get uncomfortable because they want action, they want intensity, they want to feel like something is happening. But real practitioners know this truth. When drainage improves, the body tells you what it is ready for next. This is where quantum nutrition testing comes in. It helps me have that dialogue with your body to know what it is able to handle next. So I do not guess, I do not assume, I listen. Drainage work is often subtle at first. Gentle support, small shifts, restored rhythm. And then something changes. Energy stabilizes instead of crashing. Sleep improves. Digestion becomes more predictable. Mental clarity starts to return. That's the body saying, I trust this process. Only then do I layer in detoxification. And even then, detox is strategic, it's targeted, it's measured. Not everything needs to be addressed at once. The body has many layers to it. Not and the body will show you the priority when you stop overwhelming it. This is why I do not chase protocols. I do not chase trends. I do not chase timelines. Instead, I build capacity because capacity determines outcome. When the body has capacity, detox works. When it does not, detox becomes another stressor the system has to survive. And I'm not here to help bodies survive harder. I'm here to help them heal intelligently. That's the difference. And once someone experiences detox done this way, they never want to go back to brute force again. So, who is this message really for? Or who this message is really for? This part is not for everyone, okay? This is not for the person who wants a shortcut. It is not for the person who wants to suffer their way into feeling accomplished. And it is definitely not for the person who wants to stay married to the idea that harder is better. This message is for the person who has tried to do the right things and still feels stuck. The one who has done cleanses, detoxes, resets, and protocols. The one who followed the rules and still crashed. The one who started hopeful and ended discouraged. If that's you, hear this clearly. Your body is not resisting healing. It is protecting you. A body that slows detox is not broken. It is intelligent. It knows when exits are congested. It knows when pressure is unsafe. And it knows when the system needs support instead of stimulation. This message is also for the person who has been quietly carrying symptoms for years. The fatigue that never fully lifts. The brain fog that no one can explain. The inflammation that shows up without warning. The gut that never quite settles. These are not failures, they are signals. and signals are meant to be interpreted, not silenced. If detox has ever made you feel worse, this is your permission to stop blaming yourself. You did not lack willpower, you lacked the right order. So, drainage first, then detox. Flow before force. This is how the body regains trust. This is how healing becomes sustainable. This is how progress stops being a roller coaster. So, as you step into a new year, I want you to ask a different question, not how hard can I push, but how well am I supporting my body's ability to let go? Because when the body feels safe, it releases. And when it releases, healing flows. That is the work, and that is the invitation. All right. So, if you have any other questions, throw them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. As I wrap this up, I want to bring you back to one simple truth. Okay. Healing is not about doing more, it's about doing things in the right order. Okay. Detox has become a New Year ritual because people are tired. They want relief, they want change. But relief does not come from shocking the system, it comes from restoring flow. When drainage is supported, the body stops bracing, it stops holding, it starts releasing. And that is when detox actually works. So if you take anything from today, take this with you. Stop asking how fast you can detox. Start asking how well your body can drain. That single shift changes everything. Now, here's my invitation to you. If you have tried detox before and felt worse, if you have stalled despite doing all the right things, if your body feels like it is always playing defense, it is time to stop guessing. This is exactly where individualized intelligent support matters. I work with people who are ready to do this differently, not aggressively, not recklessly, but strategically. If that resonates with you, reach out, send a message, schedule a conversation. Let's find out whether your body is ready for detox or whether drainage needs to come first. Because the goal is not to survive another protocol, the goal is to heal in a way that actually lasts. And as we step into this new year together, my prayer for you is simple: that you stop fighting your body, that you learn to listen to it, and that you give it the support it has been asking for all along. This is how healing begins. Now I'm going to share my screen. And let's put that up. And so if you are interested in at least getting an assessment done, you can hit this button right here, Start Your Journey, on my webpage, evensonholistic.com. Okay. And right at the top, right in the top banner is a code, Ready 199. Okay. This will get you a new client invitation for $199. Normally the initial assessment is $350. It's a savings of $151. $151. That's how you get started. Okay. So here's a question. Let me see. It's a good question, Janae. Janae is asking, in your experience, what is the average length of time that clients work with you to get to a point that they are able to manage on their own? Well, of course, everybody is different. I don't have a set timeline. Depends on what people are coming in with. Okay, detoxing. Um, I will say, typically, the younger the person, the quicker that process is. The the older you get, like people like me, it might take us a little bit longer. My overall goal is to move people through a 3-phase program: phase 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I start all of my new clients out on phase 1, and we're working together weekly for 3 months. Okay, I typically graduate people into phase 2, and we go every couple of weeks, and we'll stay in phase 2 as long as we need to. Okay, my overall objective is to graduate people into phase 3. That's the wellness and maintenance phase. Call it the wellness warrior phase. I don't want people on supplements for the rest of your life. My objective is to move people through these phases, get them healed. And so the timeline, it varies, can be anywhere from, it could be 6 months to 18 months. Some people are longer. I have clients that are with me longer. Those are the exception. It all depends on what the person walks in the door with that we're looking at. What are they toxified with? Okay. How long have they been carrying that load? Why is it stuck? Why is the body not letting it out? So a lot of questions. It's a great question, by the way. Thank you. Um, but it all starts with the assessment. I won't know until we do the assessment on a person to see. And when I do an assessment, I'm looking at the whole health history. We look at all of it, all the way back to your beginning. We look at it all. I want to know everything: surgeries, broken bones, implants, stitches, any of the traumas that the body can be put through in our life. I've had multiple surgeries myself. That's what got me into becoming a holistic practitioner, ultimately becoming a board certified doctor of holistic health. Never thought I'd get here, but it was going through that process of my surgeries that I finally, when I started healing, I wasn't feeling that much improved after the surgeries. It didn't feel that much better because the surgery fixed, yes, a critical, urgent issue happening in my body, but it never addresses what caused that issue to happen in the first place. It didn't get into the root cause analysis, and that is where I do the bulk of the work with everybody. Everybody is unique. So we do a root cause analysis, and that's looking at your health history. And then I've been doing this over 16 years, almost 17 years. My experience in clinical experience, observations, everything goes into the care. And I practice quantum nutrition testing and other advanced muscle testing techniques to help me have that conversation with your body. So if you're interested, start your journey. Go to my website, start your journey. It's up on the screen. But when you go to the website, don't forget to put that code in, ready 199. You're ready. If you're ready, get on there and let's go. Somebody use the phrase 20 for the year 2026. Let's make it, instead of 2026, we'll make it 2020 fix. Yeah, it's time to fix your health. It's time to get your health back. It's time to remember who you are and why you're here. And that is so hard to do with when you feel like crap. And yes, I can help with heart disease. It all depends on how advanced it is. I'm going to just tell you all the caveats to it. But yes, we're going to look at what is causing that issue in the body in the first place. So Great questions, Janae. I appreciate the dialogue back and forth. All right, so let's go ahead and close with a prayer. I'm going to take this. I'll leave that screen up. Father God, we come before you grateful for the bodies you designed with such wisdom and intention. Forgive us for the times we have rushed, forced, or fought against what you created to heal and protect us. Help us slow down, to listen, to honor the signals instead of silencing them. I pray for every person listening who is tired, discouraged, or carrying the weight of trying again and again without answers. Remind them that their body is not broken, but communicating. Give them clarity to discern the next right step, not the fastest one. Lord, restore flow where there has been congestion. Bring peace to nervous systems that have lived in survival mode. Open the pathways you designed for healing, release, and renewal. And as we step into this new year, guide us away from force and toward wisdom, away from fear and toward trust. And help us steward our health with patience, humility, and gratitude. We place our bodies, our choices, and this journey in your hands, knowing you are the ultimate healer. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, that's it, folks. Janae, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. And if you have questions, we can connect up after the show another time. It has been really, to get to episode 80, it's been really a privilege and an honor to go through so many episodes, so many topics. I'm sure somewhere in the past history of archives, I've talked about drainage and detox, but I feel like today was a fresh spin on it. And thank you for kicking off the new year with me. Let's make this the year. Go lay down, Louie. Louie's trying to he knows the show is ending. So let me stop this off the screen. Let's make 2026. If you're just thinking about getting your health back and don't know where to start, sometimes the best place, go back and look at some of my posts on Facebook, on my personal profile. It's Jeff Evenson. It's the right one because it's a picture of me in the gym, all muscly looking. Follow that page because I'm dripping content out there almost every day. But over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about working with health coaches and why that is not a big deal. Some people think it's weak if they have to hire a coach and all that kind of stuff. It's not. Sometimes we just don't know where to start. Okay, we don't know how to navigate the system. We don't know how to. We've spent so many years where we've given our health over to the medical system, which has done nothing but run us through the medical meat grinder, is what I call it. They don't do shit sometimes to help us, and oftentimes we leave there feeling worse. And on the flip side of that, I always come back with there's a time and a place. Folks, sometimes you have to go to conventional medicine. They're really good at reactive care. I used them back when I had pneumonia many times in my life, okay? Because they have the tools that can help put the fire out. And once that is out and under control, then I go back into holistic care. But I did that because I was in charge of my health. And a lot of times when we've given over control of our health to our doctors and our other medical professionals, we don't know how to get it back. We just wait for them for their computer to tell us, oh, so-and-so needs to come back in for an updated vaccine. Well, bullshit. And nowadays, the way the insurance system is set up, your deductible is so freaking high, you're paying out of pocket anyways. I don't do insurance, so I don't have any of that system controlling what I can recommend to my clients and how I can coach them back to get their health back and back on track. Okay. So I love talking to you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And let's get into the week. I do have openings for new clients this week. So if you're thinking about it, schedule up for an assessment and let's get after it and see what's going on. After the assessment, you can decide if part of the assessment, it's twofold. It's an opportunity for you to see if you can work with me. And the flip side is it's an opportunity for me to see if I can work with you. Okay. I don't accept every one of my clients that come through because sometimes I'm not the right fit for them. And I'll tell you that. But at least start with an assessment. It'll give you the information. And if it's something that we can work together on, then I'll have the options laid out for how we would move forward into moving you into phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Okay. So, all right. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.